Welcome to the TenPoint family. We've got the TX Ultra 26.5. Let's get it unboxed and put together. Now that we have your TX Ultra 26.5 unboxed, we've got the crossbow itself, got the quiver bracket, which also has your crank handle mount, your crank handle, owner's manual pack, arrows, and your scope. First thing that we're going to do is mount the quiver bracket. So we'll flip the bow over. For most people, they're going to want the quiver coming down the right-hand side for right-handed shooters. In this case, we flip the bow over, so we're going to mount it down the left-hand side here. So grab your quiver bracket. On the underneath side, there'll be a big thumb screw. Go ahead and loosen that up. That will let that bracket open up. We're going to mount this onto the Picatinny rail on the underneath side of the barrel. Go ahead and rock that in place. Give it a little forward-backwards motion to make sure that it's down in the groove of the Picatinny rail. Tighten that thumb screw down. Once that thumb screw's firmed up, that quiver bracket's on there nice and tight. On the end of the quiver bracket, you'll notice that there's two triangles, and the end of the bracket itself is a plunger type setup. On the back of your quiver, you'll notice two corresponding triangles. To mount the quiver onto the bracket, push the plunger in, line up those triangles, let go of the plunger. That quiver's on there nice and firmly. To take it off, plunger goes in, pull up, quiver comes off. On the opposite end of your quiver bracket is your crank handle mount. You'll notice one end is spring loaded. On the crank handle itself, there's two slots. We're going to use this forward slot away from the knob. Put that on the end, pull back, and you'll see that spring coil up. Tilt that crank handle in, and it'll attach nice and firmly. To take it off, grab the crank handle knob, pull back, rotate it out, and it'll come off. So again, quick, easy mounting, comes right off. So now that we have the quiver bracket and the crank handle mount set up, we're going to flip the bow back over, and we're going to mount your scope. On the right-hand side of the scope, there'll be two nuts. Go ahead and loosen those up, and that will let the brackets on the bottom of the nut slide out. You're going to want to set this up where you have the proper eye relief when you shoulder the bow, that you've got a good full circle looking into the optic. For me on these, it's going to be right about where this turnbuckle is. So you slide that on. You may need to pull those brackets out. Again, we're going to give a little forward-backwards motion to make sure both of those rings are down in the slots of the Picatinny rail. Go ahead and snug those up by hand. You can also then, you'll want to go ahead and tighten those up with a box end wrench, a crescent wrench. You'll also see that there's a hole in that nut. You can take your scope wrench and put that in that nut and go ahead and tighten the scope ring down that way as well. That's the assembly of your TX Ultra 26.5.